Media and digital literacy is so vital, especially now, along with political literacy. And since I started this channel, I have been determined to find you, the critical thinker, no matter where you sit on the political spectrum, somebody who is willing to read between the lines with me, somebody who is willing to push back constructively, and somebody who doesn't mind disagreeing and who isn't only comfortable in any chamber online. You know which chambers I'm talking about. They are everywhere on every social media platform. You can basically get your confirmation bias wherever you scroll. This place, this channel, this content platform is where I wanted to do something different. I wanted to be challenged. I wanted to try and be as impartial as I could possibly be. Of course, I have biases, and of course, I am imperfect. None of us are perfect. You don't have to be 100% right. There's no such thing in my book. I don't hold anyone to such a high standard. That would be quite stupid. It wouldn't be smart. And so, for us to have that kind of expectation from thinkers, influencers, creators, and commentators is ludicrous of us. It's not very media literate of us, because remember, the people that we are consuming on a daily, the information and the content, is coming through a human, and they are imperfect. And so they shouldn't be held to that kind of a standard. We don't need gurus. We need to be creative and critical thinkers. We need to not just think outside of the box. We need to be comfortable in the uncomfortable. And that's why I wanted to create content and speak from this vantage point rather than from a purely, let's say, commentator perspective. I wanted to speak from the vantage point of being somebody who's worked in the media, someone who's worked in communications for 20 years, someone who's been in the creative space and the journalism space. So it's been so rewarding just in these sort of early weeks and months to be attracting so many of you who are just so happy to engage with me. And that's why I am so chuffed. I'm quite chuffed that I'm now a YouTube partner in the YouTube Partner Program. And I would like to welcome you to join me. Join me. I'm going to now pause, show you what the heck I'm talking about. How can you join me? Well, right here is how you can join me. So let me just quickly do a scan of this over here. So we've got our inner circle, we've got our pioneer, and we've got our ambassador. Remember, I'm planning a lot with this channel. There's a lot coming down the line. It involves engaging young people, which I think is really important in order to sort of sow the seeds of critical thinking, media literacy early with them. And so there is some training coming down the line, but there are also other things, including conversations, including live conversations with others that you could even participate in, but also collaborative projects that I would like to invite you into. And so if you wanted to really be exposed to all of that wonderful, yummy, smart stuff where we can challenge each other, then that's what the ambassador tier is for. Well, let's come to that in a second. It's completely your choice. But if you want to start off with the inner circle, then you've got $2.99 a month. Join the loyalty badges next to your name in the comments and live chats. You get custom emojis to use in the comments and the live chat. Now, you know I shout you out in the live stream always anyway. But I guess if you're in the inner circle, there's going to be a little bit of extra engagement and shouting out of members. Members only live chats. Brilliant for me to get to know you more and find moderators as this channel is growing, and also priority reply to comments. Pioneer is $5.99 a month. You join and get early, you get all of those perks from the inner circle, but you also get early access to new videos, member shout outs, photos and status updates, exclusive member only videos, and member only live streams. Now, I'm going to make sure that this complements Patreon. I'm going to ensure that if you are a patron, that you're not sort of duplicating in any way. So right now, this is the priority. And if you also want to come to Patreon, then there's something a little bit different there, but you can head over to Patreon to figure that out. For now, we're now on the final tier, the ambassador tier, where I really want to get involved with. I want your involvement in projects. That's the thing. Remember, I'm not scripted. I'm never scripted. So this is where I am really interested in your intel. I'm interested in your expertise and how we can complement one another and to bring together communities and groups for us to explore projects, for us to think about how we can also help others with their media, digital, and political literacy. So, this is a pretty serious one. It would involve a monthly check in, it would involve us to be more frequently in touch with one another. So, I'm not just considering you as a viewer, you know. No, you'd be in a circle, you'd be a pioneer, but you'd be an ambassador, somebody that I could actually potentially co-create with. So virtual video collaborations, discounted merchandise, that's to come as well as everything else. Now it's exciting times. Remember, I'm just starting out. I'm just starting out with a channel, but I'm not just starting out with everything I have to offer. I've been in this space for 20 years in public relations and communications. What is that, you ask? As well as content creation and journalism. So let me explain a little bit. Public relations is a wonderful practice. It's a specialism, and you'll find lots of people who were journalists cross over to PR, and many from PR cross over to journalism, because there's lots of sort of similar, let's say, competencies that can work on both sides. You've got to be able to write well. You've got to be able to sort of find the story, sort of seek it out, read between the lines, extract the right messages, be able to sort of forecast what's going on in the space, what's the sentiment, who's the audience, what's the objective. You've got to think of all of these things. And so when you've been practicing this way of working and being a practitioner, you tend to not just become more discerning, you can be a little bit more cynical, a lot more open-minded, since you are much more open to a variety of perspectives, a diversity of them, and try and find sort of common threads, or try and find the thread. And that's why PRs and people in comms are always brought in when there's a crisis, or there's any kind of reputational management needed, or if there's a launch of some sort. And that's what I've been doing for a long time. And I've sprinkled in some other things during those 2 decades of working in this field as a practitioner in multi industries. I have been qualified and been teaching yoga for over 15 years. I have been in the alternative health space as well. And I'm a creative at heart. And I kind of see the sort of creative side and the intellectual side both just as important and running in parallel always. And so my creativity is a real spectrum, mainly music, mainly dance, and also lately abstract art. So there are so many different ways that we can express ourselves and explore our creativity, but we tend to lean towards one or two or three different outlets, and those sort of naturally happened for me with music and dance. But content creation became a thing as well. And back in the day, in the 90s, when my late father had a VHS video camera, I would be the only sibling, the only child in the house who wasn't watching TV but would be playing around with that camera with a VHS cassette tape and trying to be a TV presenter or a documentary maker. I didn't know what I was doing at the time, but I know now. I was always interested in capturing things, looking for the story, interested in the world in a way that I think all of us are, but we can become so disenchanted and so disappointed. And then we tune out. And there's so much noise, and I don't want to add to that. What I do want to do is create a space for us online to have a chuckle, but also a good think and a reflection about things that really matter. And whilst I'm a creative and an artist, I also am a thinker and an intellectual. And I want to explore these difficult and often complex issues. Why not? That's what we're here for, regardless of who we are, what all of our sort of categories are in terms of identity. As humans, we are here to contribute, to explore, to provide something that is significant and profound and that can feel like it's worthwhile. A lot of us want more from life, but we feel stifled in so many ways, and we feel like we're almost blocked by certain things. And maybe there are some blockers going on in the world, in society, or in our sort of micro society, wherever we find ourselves. And so rather than us pointing the finger so easily, we could do well by just sort of like figuring out what are all the elements at play, what's going on. And that kind of zoomed out thinking is such a powerful way to problem solve and to diagnose and then treat any sort of issues that we find ourselves experiencing. That zoomed out thinking. I like systems thinking. I'm exploring it as postgrad study, and it's blowing my mind so far, just what I'm finding out about it. So watch this space. There's so much more to come. And I'm just so, so pleased that you're here and you're tuning in. And I just want to share my enthusiasm for this content and for this space and for the community. So I really appreciate you. Thank you so much for watching thus far. And if you have and you hadn't already subscribed, followed, or even joined, then please consider doing it. And if you know that this stuff matters, then definitely engage with me in the comments. I'm still a young, new channel. So the more you engage, the better it is for the channel and for this work. And so then I can really focus more on quality pieces, reports, explorations, things that could really make a difference. I'll see you in the next video.